Oh, hi everyone. Why? I see it's a bear market for real. Uh-huh, all right. But okay, I'm glad you made it here today because real fortunes are made in the bear markets. So my name is Olive Allen. I'm a NFT artist that's been in the space since its inception, pretty much early 2018. I got into cryptocurrency in like 2013 by buying Bitcoin. Wasted it, but oh well. So yesterday I was named to one of the NFT 100. Hey, great to be on the list. So I've been collecting, I've been a DJing, I've been everything in the space. I've been a founder of a startup. So the space has been my life for the past 5 years. Literally, I was breathing and living it every single day. So.
Hi, everyone. My name's Luka, and I am the co-founder of Shiny, which is a Web3 company, and Everyday Goddesses, which is a generative drop. I myself have been in the NFT space for about a year and a half now, and crypto a bit longer than that. But, well, with how fast the space moves, it feels like we've all been here for about like 50 years at this point. So what we do at Shiny is we kind of advise companies on entering Web3 and kind of give them, their options in terms of how they can enter the space. And Everyday Goddesses is a generative drop that aims to basically combat gender inequality in Web3, kind of help female artists who want to get their start in Web3 and learn about blockchain in general and things like that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, what should we start with? Like, it's a bear market, right?
I think we should start by saying that none of this is actual financial advice, and we aren't qualified financial advisors, and we're very happy to discuss our ideas and our strategies, but please don't go and apply this directly and then tweet at us if you get wrecked.
Yeah, please don't. So, Luka, tell me, what's your strategy in the bear market? What are you buying? What are you selling? What are you hoping for?
My strategy in the bear market is just buy undervalued products and kind of hold them, I guess, for now. But mainly at the moment, I'm actually just looking to build and kind of, get things set up for the next bull run rather than, I'd say my trading volume has gone down, but there are a lot of undervalued projects to scoop up, and I think that's what people are here for, actually. I think they want help identifying
let's identify let's say what community means and how important that is, right? Everyone talks about community, right? And that's how people measure projects nowadays. And what does that really mean? What do you think? What is the community in the space? What is it for you?
It's a good question because a lot of the time, community people kind of just assume community to mean whatever's in your Discord, and you kind of like. Oftentimes, you'll enter a Discord and people will be like, with some of these hyped up drops, people are like, oh my God, this community is amazing. And really the chat's like moving 200 kilometers per hour and nobody's really talking to each other. There's no actual conversation, connection, things like that. I think when identifying strong communities in the NFT space, we're talking about communities where people kind of build really stronger bonds than just the average Discord. And you're looking for, I suppose you're looking for Discords where you start to recognize people because they talk there consistently. You connect with them on some personal level. People are helpful, but not in this like superficial kind of way, And they're not necessarily. To me, honestly, it gets to the point where if people aren't just like this constant fake nice, then you've got the workings of a good community where people start to actually be, real, open, honest with each other, and kind of push things beyond this kind of like superficial interaction. What do you think?
Right. I mean, I think community is a fickle notion. Like, all the communities in space are kind of artificially created, and that's exactly the problem, right? Like, collectibles is a thing, people have to relate to a character, right? Or set of characters, like Pokemons. People love Pokemons, right? People know all the traits. People have been following, been making fan art for years and years and years. There's so many compelling narratives around the animals. And like Sonic the Hedgehog, for example, another great example, right? Community was really upset that they created the ugly Sonic. I mean, you guys remember the ugly Sonic, right? That's pretty damn ugly. And community kind of forced the movie producers to change the entire character because it was not satisfying to them. Because like, they know their character, they love it so much. They were like, no, it's not our Sonic. And it's like been appearing in so many games over the years, and I think that's what's missing in our space. Those characters not compelling to anyone really. And people buying those animals, bored apes, just to flip, right? And there is no large narrative about it. I mean, the whole business model of bored apes right now is like praying that somebody does something with their avatars that they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for. Be like, dear God, please, somebody do something. And it's not a very sustainable business model to me, right?
I agree with you completely. I think the business model aspect of a lot of NFT projects is what needs to be questioned, especially when investing. And with Bored Apes, I think there's one thing that they are doing well, which is they are managing to reach these influential figures, whether it's celebrities and stuff like that, and they're kind of cementing it as sort of like the cultural, let's say, flag bearer for NFTs. So it becomes kind of the go-to, anybody, kind of people who don't care about Web3 and people who adamantly hate NFTs and don't want to know anything about them will always mention those stupid monkeys. They still know about Bored Apes. And that's something that they've achieved, and it's kind of growing into this larger cultural phenomenon where they're now branching into, it's not even necessarily them, right? Like Coinbase is now releasing this movie trilogy about Bored Apes, which features the characters because because the owners of the Bored Apes have commercial rights to their ape. So I guess that's the interesting part about NFTs is that the business model of the kind of project that's developing the drop, they're not even necessarily the ones that kind of only add value to the brand. People can branch out and create their own businesses around the IP, and that eventually brings value back to the brand itself, kind of the Bored Apes as a whole. But what you were mentioning about unsustainable business models, 100%. A lot of NFT drops these days kind of, and it's not necessarily even a bad thing, but they start as it's kind of like a Kickstarter. You're fundraising for your project, and then from there you kind of promise to deliver some things, and you build out your roadmap. But realistically, in the current climate, a lot of people aren't buying your drop because they value what your roadmap delivers. They're buying it because they might want to flip it. And so projects have kind of I guess, become a little bit complacent, and the roadmaps that they're dropping don't really leave room to develop the project into like a larger brand. So they kind of drop the NFTs, they raise the funds, they quietly deliver the roadmap in the background while people lose interest in the drop because the whole thing is kind of unsustainable long term, and we don't actually know where it's going to go because the space is so young, and we haven't even reached the end of that first cycle where most of the drops that have kind of come out in this past year.
We're getting there. I mean, it's a good point you made that it's a fundraising tool essentially. So basically a Kickstarter, right? Like you guys know what that is, right? And it works. It does work. Like there are incredible companies that came out of it. So when you are investing right now, doesn't matter what market it is, you have to look at it as a Kickstarter. Do you want to be a part of this company? Do you think they're going to build the product that people want and need and etc.? Is it a compelling narrative? Is it a compelling character set? Is it going to be an amazing game? Do the team has the expertise and knowledge to make it work? It's exact same strategy. I feel if you look at it this way, yeah, you're gonna make it. That's how I've been looking at the projects always. And yeah, and there are short-term strategies, flipping something, but there's long-term strategies that are applicable right now. Now we're starting that like long bear market cycle, and this is where all the fortunes were made. Like remember CryptoPunks? That's where people got it for almost free, bear market. Remember anything of value from the previous cycle. That's how it happened.
Yep.
So in terms of like, yeah, let's maybe think of some actionable advices like we can like give people, right?
Absolutely. To me, I would say the most actionable advice is to research the teams as extensively as possible when you're buying into a project. So actually make sure that they can deliver on the product that they're willing to, that they're allegedly supposed to deliver. Because if the team doesn't have a certain expertise, it is ultimately very difficult to be able to juggle the aspects of actually running an NFT drop, managing a community, and the whole technical side of it, and then actually fleshing out the business model that they're supposed to develop after their drop. And the second thing that I would say is just really make sure the roadmap is even realistic in the first place, because anecdotally, for example, and actually this brings me to my third piece of advice, which is to invest in what you know. And to bring that back, like I have a background in esports and gaming, for example. So when I see a drop promise like a AAA title from their NFT drop in the next 3 months, I know that that's completely unrealistic when they haven't even started working on it.
What's the realistic timeline for a AAA game? Let's tell people. I feel like not everybody knows.
We're talking
5 years?
Yeah. Basically, if they haven't started working on it at all, we're talking like 3, 4, 5 years. And oftentimes they actually raise the funds. I mean, we've seen gaming projects raise upward of $50 million in NFTs, but realistically, that a game of that magnitude isn't going to get delivered in the next year or two, potentially not even 3. And people who are looking to buy into this project in kind of with like a short-term mindset aren't going to wait that long. And
of course not. Yeah, unrealistic. Yeah, but so what are the good games? Like I know there's a lot been built. I feel like gaming is the next cycle, is the next big thing in the NFTs, in the space in general, right? What are the good games you're seeing around? What are you invested in?
Personally, haven't seen anything like properly impressive yet. And I don't know if it comes from this whole attitude of play to earn, because like, let's be real, play to earn is a job, right? Like when you go to work, you're basically playing to earn. So a lot of games that currently function feel basically like a chore. Either they're very uninteractive or extremely simplistic. And there are a lot of studios that are working, Cryo Wars and stuff like that are trying to build out something really big and impressive. But again, the timelines are the issue here. And honestly, my personal opinion is that the first really, really breakthrough successful NFT game is going to come from an existing publisher, an existing studio, basically tacking NFTs onto an existing successful game. I mean, if we talk about a perfect application, for example, would be, let's say, World of Warcraft, which technically already has they sell game tokens like for game playtime with US dollars. So you've already got like a connection between USD and World of Warcraft Gold. So if World of Warcraft Gold were to become a cryptocurrency and World of Warcraft items were to become NFTs, it's like a very smooth transition from the current model into a blockchain-based model that the players, I think, would appreciate. And I think once publishers catch on to the whole royalty thing...
Right. What's the problem with the publisher? Why a lot of gaming companies are not on board with NFTs? Like, are they afraid that it's going to shrink the market? Or what's the issue here? Because I know they're really against NFTs and blockchain space in general, which is strange, right? Like, Fortnite is not doing it anytime soon.
Yeah. I think right now there's a lot of pressure from gamers themselves who just really don't like NFTs. There's kind of like a negative sentiment around them in the gaming space. And I think, we live in our nice little crypto NFT bubble, and we love NFTs and we love crypto, but outside there's still a lot of stigma.
Our bubble is shrinking as we speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, good point. Hey, like, you have to look at everything as an investment in the space. It's not, I mean, quick flip, time is over. I mean, it will come, but it's not right now. So what other assets are, like, we really haven't determined that there are types of collectibles, right? There are types of assets. There are collectibles, then art assets, there are in-game assets, what else? Digital fashion, right? Ticketing and etc. There are so many different facets, and again, the best advice is always invest in what you know and what you love and what you care about, right? Especially when it comes to art. That's a great investment. Like, whoever is salty and unhappy that they lost money investing in art, yeah, I must say no. Like, it's a great investment. You basically invest in the future of humanity, really. And you're supporting the people that are creating culture, and this is pretty big, and it's never a loss. That's that type of asset. But collectibles, it's all the network effect. It's the organic community. I personally believe that you don't really need to manage an organic community of people who are really interested. I think this model worked back in the day for ICOs as well. It's a kind of a crypto hustle. You remember people were looking at the number of people on Telegram, right? Which wasn't an indicator of a success of a token. And look, it didn't work. 98% of the ICOs just disappeared, right? Like, I mean, I'm really not a believer in that, like, community management, Discord channels, and etc. I feel like organic communities always start with the early enthusiasts that are really passionate about the project and they keep it going. What's your opinion?
Well, I'm a co-founder of a collectible drop, so obviously I don't entirely agree with you there, although I do see exactly where you're coming from. I think that one thing that we did differently, which is to try to combat that type of thing, is we kind of went for a, let's say, FOMO-free approach to how we built our community. So there was basically no incentive to join our community, and we didn't have any rewards for Discord activity. It was literally like a full-on public sale, and it was kind of like if you happened to stumble upon our community and you liked it, that would be right for you. And also a very low supply project, so only 2,222 compared to the usual 10K, which we also kind of figured we're far more likely to get a strong community of like a couple thousand people, rather than trying to aim immediately for this, as you say, inorganic community of like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 plus people who were just supposed to come together in the span of like a month or two and suddenly build out this strong community. In a sense, we were successful because I think our community is quite strong. But obviously, it does come with its drawbacks, such as reach, and you know, when looking to expand further, you know, basically, eventually, we do need to like look to expand if we want to grow our brand, which is what we will eventually do.
Great, I'm sure you guys will. So another interesting topic I want to raise, the metaverse lands. That's been a popular narrative in the space that metaverse lands have to be scarce, and like being a landowner gives you different privileges. What do you think about that? Is scarce lands is a way to go in the future metaverse economy, or it's a fad?
I think this is, yeah, land is kind of like the new, you know, the new hot assets, and I think we're going to see some. I think again, like with most collectibles, most lands aren't going to make it simply because realistically, if you're a provider of a metaverse, there's no reason for you to integrate land from other metaverses. So if I'm Sandbox, I don't want other side land integration into my Sandbox ecosystem because I want my Sandbox ecosystem to grow. And realistically, users aren't going to be playing in 50 different metaverses, and currently there are, I don't know, hundreds of land issuers. So it's important to kind of focus on the ones that you think will have a successful user base / player base for the ones that are more gaming orientated. Again, not advice, but from my personal perspective, I'm an investor in Yuga Land, so other side, because I've seen their gameplay demo. I've seen that what Yuga did was cut down on that development cycle of a game by getting an existing product and repackaging it, so reskinning it to fit the Bored Ape aesthetic and the Bored Ape ecosystem.
So that's the existing project, right? Like, okay, which one?
Well, whoever's seen the gameplay demos can see it looks a little bit Fortnite-ish. So I'm.
And it looks a bit of like somebody made it on Fiverr. That's how it looks like.
It obviously what they released was a very early preview, and yeah, it's not unbelievable, but compared to metaverse lands that don't have anything and that are raising money for their project, I think this is miles ahead. So to me, the aspect of grabbing an existing product and kind of reskinning it was I think a smart move on their part, because it fits this rapid NFT cycle pace that we've seen so far a lot better than what most other land issuers are doing. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. Well, I mean, I believe a scarce lens is bullshit, but hey, we have 1 minute left. Oh my god, yes. So I don't know if you guys have questions. Just let's find us after. And I mean, the conclusion is it's an exciting time we're living in. It's just the beginning of an incredible world, a new world. A new world is powered by blockchain technology, by non-fungible tokens. And truth be told, in the future, everything will be NFT'd. And right now, it's a great time to look at the assets that are going to be, pivotal for the future, who are going to be the next cultural treasures, the next collectibles that people relate to forever, right? The next games, the next fashion companies, the next anything. It's an exciting time to build, to establish your brands, to really, really, I don't know, create the future. And we always have a choice, like how you want to see it. Like you create it the way you want to see it, and now is the time. It's not every day those time pockets that happen. We live in a truly exciting times.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you all for coming. And I guess, yeah, if we're going to leave people with some last pieces of actionable advice, for me, that would be definitely invest in what you know and look for the right team. So people who are capable of executing the vision that they have planned. And obviously, make sure there's a sustainable demand for whatever they're providing. Because if they're creating something that nobody wants and nobody needs, then you could have the best team and it could be right in your field, and you would still, well, that's the invest in what you know. You'll know that that's not it, right?
Yeah, well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.